All right. So right about now, it's that time. We're going to be joined by my first guest of the year. Very special person musically to me. We got the one and only Complexion in the house today. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me. I didn't know I was the first person of the year, man. It makes sense, though. But
yeah, man, it's my first show back.
Oh, yeah, of course it is.
Guest before. So, you're only my second guest.
Listen, starting off 2025 strong. That's what I love.
That's what it's about, man. Appreciate you. But yeah, not only do I want to thank you for being here today, but I want to thank you just for pretty much doing what you do. So I don't know if I think I must have mentioned it to you before, but it was pretty much when I was getting into the music side of stuff, I was contemplating whether doing like a radio thing like myself. So
Okay.
I was listening to like shows that were in America, obviously there's like Stone's Throw and
Of course,
Selection, these
yeah.
things that, like very early influences into what has panned out worldwide. But at the time, I was just like, I don't know if I could do this like in this country and where I am with the music, the people around me.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until I found Future Beats Show, probably I want to say as early maybe like 2015.
Oh, wow. So you were early on it then?
Very early.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
I think it was only just past the first 100 episodes.
Right.
And then when I heard it, I was like, oh man, this guy's from London. This guy's British.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people say to me when they heard the show, because initially they thought I was American or from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then when they hear the voice, they were like, oh, this guy's from the UK and also South Asian as well. And they were like, oh, right, he's like he's one of the heads. Do you know what I mean? So it's
You're
been
mixed with South Asian noise, right?
No, I'm South Asian. I'm quarter Iranian. You know what I mean?
Oh,
But
that's what it is.
pretty much Pakistani, bro.
I could have thought those had some Iranian connection.
Yeah. So it's been nice, to start something in London and just be at the start of this scene now, because something I say, we'll talk about this later, but what I love is people I was playing on my show 10 years ago, they've now done incredible things. Like I remember when K Tronada had barely 1,000 followers on SoundCloud. In fact,
back then.
I remember when K was not beefing, but he was talking to Goldlink. Goldlink was jumping on his beats, and he was like, "Who's this guy jumping on my tracks for free?" kind of thing. And then look what's happened. So to see the growth, it's always been amazing, and play like a teeny tiny part of it has always been a benefit. And then also to see people like yourself, man, like, people listen to the show, like now I'm the person who's inspiring others or encouraging them, should I say,
For sure, man,
to
that's
do
what
things.
It was like, I had the idea there, but you was definitely the final gear that kind of got everything going in my brain to think, Joe, let me take a crack at that. Let me try and be my show of my space and area.
Yeah,
and
of course.
Especially just hearing you talking on the shows, which is quite ironic because it's been quite well known when you've mentioned it a few times that in the past that a lot of people were criticizing your talking on the shows, obviously not understanding what a radio is.
So when I first started, I remember there was a Future Beats subreddit. Yeah. And it was like, at the time, I thought everyone was mad friendly and whatever. So I was like, right, guys, I'm doing a show with all the music that we love. And then people were just like, why don't you shut the F up? And why are you talking so much and whatever. I remember this one guy, he went and got all the tracks from my show, made a playlist, and he commented underneath my post saying, oh, don't worry about this idiot talking. I've made a playlist of all his songs anyway. And then what's funny is I remember all these people, and they then in turn started commenting on my show saying how much they love the show.
But that's what I kind of find.
I'm not petty though.
Amusing, because it's the complete opposite for me. That you speaking on the show is what made me not only enticed to listen,
right,
but it was also what made me want to do it myself, because that's what I was quite self-conscious of. But I think remember you saying that you grew up with a lisp as well.
Oh yeah, man.
I did as well.
Right, so you know what it's like, right?
So I had that same stigma where I was like, I'm not sure if I really want to talk.
Yeah. No, honestly, I've stopped myself talking so many times. There was numerous occasions. The reason I talk really fast is because I used to hate being on stage and like having to talk in front of people. So my thing was, if I talk quick, I'd get out the way and run off.
Maybe they'll notice or something.
So yeah, exactly. That's it. So I've never believed when people say they like how I talk on radio podcasts. I'm like, you're lying. It's a big prank. Everyone's going to come out and jump out and say something, But I'm thankful because there's a lot of other people who have speech impediments, and you know what it's like, man. When we're doing this, it's not easy to be on stage or be on the radio and have to do this. So I'm thankful I'm able to encourage other people with that, man.
Exactly, man. Especially when you're doing it by yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Something else we have in common is we're pretty much solo projects, how we handle things.
Yeah, completely.
Like,
I mean,
some people have teams, or they're like a collective, or you know, like it's a few co-founders. But
Yeah.
for me, we pretty much just made this idea ourselves and just executed what we wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's numerous people that have helped me out along the journey, and I'm not going to disregard them. They've come along, they've added things to the show, and maybe things haven't gone exactly how we want to, but I'm always thankful for the help and the support, because people always guide you a certain way and show you something that you might not think of. But I think ultimately, I kind of like doing things myself because I like being in control.
Yeah,
you know,
sure. In
that's
terms
the way.
of like creative direction.
Yeah.
But of course, like even when we're doing it like this, there's gonna be so much input from other people that's kind of outsourced. But
Yeah.
That's when it shows, I think, the real like connection and community, especially what your whole culture of your brand has. There's such a massive like family vibe where everyone kind of almost wants to chip in.
Yeah,
I think that's something that's like very essential to what I think makes the Future Beat show as well.
I mean, honestly, without the community, the show wouldn't be what it is. And I'm always thankful. Even during COVID, they helped out so much. I mean, I think we sold out of a merch within 8 minutes of announcing it during COVID as well, which is crazy. And there's always someone that's willing to help someone else. And, you know, what I love is I've done this thing for fun. And it's got people to DJ, to start their own radio shows and connect with other people. I mean, there's Future Beats babies out there, you know. So, and it's all because of the show. So I'm extremely thankful that something I wanted to do for fun has enabled me to get to where I am and do what I've done so far.
Of course, man. And moving on to something else, we're gonna change things up. So I wanted to dive a bit into kind of, you've brushed up a few times in a few conversations you've had with people, kind of like your early starts and stuff.
Yeah.
But I wanted to just talk about like very, very beginnings. So obviously you started off with the music side, more into the DMC stuff.
That's right, yeah.
The house, DMB.
Yeah.
You grew up, was it Isleworth?
It was, yeah. I was with a place called Ivy Bridge Estate, which is a lot nicer than it was now. It's not saying much. I mean, I love the place, but it was a very racist kind of old school 90s kind of council estate, you know.
Yeah, it's quite similar to me as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that's what a lot of us can connect with, can't we? That we've grown up similarly, and no matter where you are in the world, there is that kind of thing where we've all grown up that way, if that makes sense.
But it definitely gives you the closest touch with the UK music, like those kind of areas. They're big on like the garage and like the 4x4 bass. Like,
oh yeah, for you definitely. Yeah, no, I mean, and just quickly touching on that, what I love at the time we live in currently is that I feel like regional music's kind of making a comeback, because I used to love that. You know, when I was younger, I'd hear like rappers from Nottingham and Birmingham and have the accents, and I'm like, rah, they talk differently to we do, and it sounds crazy, and I love that. And I feel like Kendrick is bringing that back as well with the West Coast stuff now.
Yeah,
because GNX is obviously a super West Coast album, you know, and I really want to bring that, because I think we got to a stage at one point where everyone just sounded the same, you know, and I want to bring back the regional stuff. I think it's really dope. And then Birmingham, obviously, man, like crazy artists out there, you know, crazy producers.
It's an amazing scene out there in terms of like just individual talent.
Sure.
Like I've tried my best, and I have succeeded quite a few times in just bringing that together.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people working together now that I'm happy to see, that, you know, I've maybe introduced stuff like that, and that's what I love to do.
Yeah, no, we need more people like that doing that, man, because
it can be quite spread out.
Yeah.
But people know each other, but they just aren't connecting, and that's what I think another thing we're very good at doing. And I think that's another point that you said, you know, is what your kind of aspect of goal is with the Future Beats show, and even when you're doing Future Beats Records, which we'll talk a little bit about as well. It was the idea of finding people that weren't out there and sending them on a path, giving them a blueprint.
So it's really interesting you say that, right? Because growing up, I was always the outcast. I was always the weirdo, like a lot of us are. You know, I used to read comic books, play video games, and people were like, oh, why are you doing this for? And now that's normalized. You know, so for me, I know what it feels like to be ostracized and be left out, you know, like kind of like we don't want to bring this guy in. So for me, I felt like a lot of music producers, I mean, no disrespect by this, we're all fellow weirdos. You know what I mean? We all kind of want to sit in our rooms.
I was like the anime kind of kid.
Right, you're the anime kid,
I wouldn't
okay.
show it at school because I was just normal at school, but I go home, you know, I'm watching like 20 episodes of Dub Naruto.
Oh yeah, of course. This is what I mean. So like for me, I know it can be difficult. So I just wanted to kind of showcase these people's talents. And that was it. We didn't, you know, I didn't make much money from the label by any means. But for me, it was just the idea of, let me give these guys a platform and let me help them out as much as I can, because I feel like I'm so lucky to be able to reinvent myself, especially now as I'm getting older. And people still mess with me. I love that. You know, I'm so thankful for it. So I just want to, in a way, I guess, pay it forward.
Yeah, it's about the evolution of things, and I think that's why one thing you execute pretty well as well. And it's like that's the whole concept of future beats. I think that's one thing that gravitated me towards it is that it's ever evolving. It's the concept of what's ahead.
Well, no, thank you for saying that. Yeah, because now the thing is the stuff I was playing 10 years ago is now normal.
Now, yeah.
It's R&B now. You know, like literally that's it. The drum patterns, the way it's a very dark and moody, very atmospheric. That literally is R&B now.
And you actually predicted it. I think about I don't know if it was from 6 or 8 years ago. You also previously said, when someone was talking about the future beat sound, he said, I think that's going to come in very soon. You've got people like / on Bryson Tiller's stuff.
There you go, yeah.
I'm a huge Jay Lewis fan.
Oh, there you go. I mean, come on.
And then when I saw him on it, but
I mean, look at
actually
Stu as well.
It's going to become the new R&B.
Yeah, no, completely. And I think
you can see that documented.
the thing is, I think that's my mutant power.
That's
the problem
like
is,
yeah.
I think my mutant power is I jump on things too early before they're big.
Yeah.
And then I get good at it, and then no one cares, and then 5 years later, everyone's on it. So whatever I'm doing now, start jumping onto that now, you know, and in 5 years' time, we'll be good. You know what I mean? That's the thing.
That's the labor of love, really. There, just getting on something even when people don't mess with it. But yeah, you see the vision.
I think I want to create like something like you know, like well, shout out to Manny Norte. He's he's the name you can trust. But that's what I want people to be like with me. If I say this is going to be good or I like this, I want you to be able to trust me and be like, let me listen to this. Let me see what it's like. You know, this might not be what I normally listen to, but let me check that out. You know, and even like with video game soundtracks, I'm bringing quite a lot of those into my shows now because a lot of people they dismiss video game music.
Oh,
and I'm like, nah, there's so much good stuff out there.
Like, there's a band that covers video game music now. I think they're called The Consoles. My friend showed
Oh, that's a good name.
Oh,
right, I'm gonna check them out for sure.
Renditions.
Oh, I love that.
Video games.
Love that. Yeah, I'll definitely check them out.
It's amazing. There's one of like the Final Fantasy 13.
Oh, amazing.
Theme.
Okay.
And like I love that song anyway. That's on there. Like it's just amazing composition.
Yeah, I love that.
For them to jazz it up.
Yeah.
Dope. I was playing that all over the holiday season.
Oh, I love that, man. Yeah, please send it over to me, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. The Consoles. We'll check that out. But you're going into, so we spoke about the early music experience.
Mm-hmm.
Going into. What was kind of, not per se DJing or wanting to get into it, what's some of like your earliest experiences just music being around you?
Oh man, so I think for me, again, growing up, being really nerdy, it was something that was cool when I was younger to be into music. So I was just like, let me fully get into this so I can be cool, so I can be accepted by the cool kids. And that's what it was. So I started doing deep dives on like, MTV, the rap show. Yeah. And I listened to like Ice Cube, Snoop, Dre when West Coast was killing it. So I just got fully involved into music. And I'm sure you might know this story, but if people aren't familiar, I actually started DJing to impress a girl in secondary school. Yeah, that was it. So then I was just kind of like, oh man, everyone thinks I'm a DJ. I need to see this through now.
Figure it out.
Yeah, and that was it. And I just fell in love with music, man, how it made me feel.
How soon was it? What was the situation in terms of, were they asking you to prove it or was it?
No, so because what it was in school, when I told this girl I'm a DJ, because she said to me her cousin was a DJ, and she was like, that must be so cool. And without even thinking, I was like, I'm a DJ. So then I think like the following week, people started because this girl was very popular. So other people started hearing about it. I was like, Mum, please, I need to get turntables. I need to get something. So at the time, sadly, my dad had actually recently passed away. So my mum was being really nice and kind of really trying to take care of me. So he was like, I'll get you something. So me and a friend of mine, we split the cost of a pair of DLP-1s, which you won't know, but we've got Swerve in the building. He might know about the DLP-1s turntables. And they had like a 20 or 30 second start up when you press the button.
Yeah.
And learning how to scratch on those, was an experience. But yeah, so that was it. So I just literally once I was in it, I just surrounded myself with music, like fully just got into it.
Did you ever showing them your DJing?
No, I did actually a talent contest. I did a talent contest. Yeah, I remember what was really funny. I couldn't actually go to the middle of the stage because the cables were too short. So imagine the curtains open up and I'm on the left side of the stage, so half of the crowd can't even see me. So I'm there doing this little routine over some Dog Pound records. And when I finished, I remember it was like a Beavis and Butthead sample. And I walked down to the middle of the stage, I threw my hands up. I was like, yeah, bow, whatever. And I remember my sister was at the front and she was the first person that jumped up and screamed and supported me, which was nice. So I kind of left my little mark. But obviously with social media now, it's cool. People can see what you're up to and what you're doing. And it's nice because a lot of my old friends are always like, I'm glad you stuck with it. It's nice, which is cool.
Yeah, it's quite amusing almost how you can fall into something and it's not even what you was particularly intending to do.
There you go.
And it sort of takes over like that.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think DJing was my first thing really. I thought I was a dancer. That was my main thing.
Right, I remember you mentioned this actually to me. Yeah, because we did an event, didn't we? Like a breaking event, didn't we?
Yeah, it was for the Break Mission after party.
Yeah, I remember that. That's dope. Yeah, but I feel like if you're involved in music in a certain way, you can always move on to something else.
But yeah,
you know, like it makes sense.
I thought it was I love dance so much, and I realized it's not. I'm doing all this because I love music. So that's what led me into just anything surrounding me in music now is.
I love that, and again, look what you know, what you're doing, what you've achieved. You know, like this is crazy, and you still got time to do more things as well, which is amazing.
Yeah, we got a whole year ahead of us.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's it.
We've got a lot more stuff to get on. Like, we definitely need to link up things soon. I've been meaning to hit you up to do some stuff.
Yeah, I think this year is going to be.
You and me both agreed. Timing's always what's perfect. Like this today.
Yeah, no.
This any time last year, but I think this is the best time we've.
No, absolutely. I think this year, the word I'm trying to use a lot and stick with and remind myself is intent. So I'm trying to move with intent, whatever I do, kind of thing. You know, so that's the plan, and just kind of mess with the people that want to build on something and go forward, you know, together over just kind of doing things for like the short term, if that makes sense. You know,
collaboration. Is
absolutely. 100%. That's the best way to do it, and what a great way to start as well, doing this.
Well, I can't think of much else better, man, than. You know, I mean, it's a full circle moment.
Yeah, of course.
To be the person that's listened to now being on my own show.
No, this is amazing, man. Yeah, I love seeing that because, you know, even during COVID, I was streaming on Twitch and there were so many people that were like, oh, I'm thinking of DJing. I was like, do it. Like, go ahead and do it, man. Now is the best time to do it. It's the easiest time. Absolutely. You know, I used to work at McDonald's so I could buy records. You know, I had to do all that. So like now you can just get music. So I feel like the tough part has been taken away. So now let your creativity shine.
As long as you get that one purchase laptop or whatever.
That's all you need. That's it. Or even USBs, man. Like just use that and be creative, do dope stuff. Let me see what you've got. I want to know how like a girl in Birmingham is doing. I want to see what like a guy in Newcastle, what they're doing with their stuff. I don't want to just see the same thing across all my Instagrams and everything. Do you know what I mean? Like exactly. I want to, what are you bringing that's a little bit different? Like bring your own flavor to it.
Yeah, it's showing your own interests inside of it, which obviously with you and the Future Beat Show, it's your massive space fan.
Yeah, well, I was going to say,
you kind of intertwine that into, almost molded that into the staple of what the genre is and what the subculture and the SoundCloud.
Yeah, which is crazy to me. Yeah, they literally make that connection without even me being
personally, like I've always resonated with like aliens and UFOs.
Right, okay.
And that's what I base mine off.
Yeah.
It has loose inspiration, of course, by the space theme that you created with that.
Absolutely. And what's crazy is the only reason I did that was because I was so fascinated, and still am, by space, that I was like, why aren't people talking about this more? like dude, there's like a planet where it rains diamonds sideways. Yeah. Did you know what I mean? I'm just like, okay, how can I start talking about this? And then the idea just came about, right, let's just pretend we're in a spaceship and we just go through space, listen to music.
I think that would be a dope episode.
Oh man, come on, that'd be amazing. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
You had him speaking over a show.
Oh yeah, no, there's been quite a few ideas. We actually, at one point we were talking, we actually had a couple of emails with NASA about a couple of things. So it's slow, but we're working on it, you know. So let's see, before I retire all of this, we're gonna do some dope stuff for sure.
Of course, man. If you've got a few dope things already planned up, man, we've got a little bit of time left to talk about it.
Okay.
Man. I wish I got a longer track.
We'll have to do a podcast soon, don't worry.
Oh, of course, man. Like, I wanted to make a whole podcast, but of course we gotta deliver the music.
No, of course.
But yeah, Future Beats and Balance.
Yes.
Your newest
so this is something I really wanted to talk about on here. So shout out to my very good friend Thomas Morgan, who's an incredible photographer. He's been great in the sense he's the catalyst. So I've been meaning to do my own event for a very long time. But again, classic overthinker, like a lot of us are. Yeah. You know, I'm like, are people gonna come? Is it gonna be good? And I always just struggle with actually finishing that final step, you know. And with Thomas, he was like, look, we've got this event, let's do it. And I was like, yeah, we'll do it. And the next thing I know, he's organized the venue. He's organized this, he's organized that. I'm like, oh man, I've actually got to do it now, you know. But it's a great idea because for me, what I love about the show, it's always been not just about clubbing, it's about enjoying music with your friends. And in fact, I had some young guys listening to my show and they emailed me and they said, like, when your show comes out, we all sit around and listen to it like an old-timey radio show. And I was like, that's kind of because we live in a time where you can get what you want whenever you want.
Yeah,
like, you know, like,
put it in your AirPods.
Yeah, or like, even if there's a TV show, you don't have to wait till Friday night now. You download it and you watch it whenever you want. So I like the fact that people go and actually wait for the show to release and then make time and listen to it live. And then,
especially with the era of vinyl, people want that more authentic feel.
Yeah, that's it. And the idea was doing my show live somewhere, inviting people along, let them listen to it, have some tea, and some nice food. And then Thomas, you know, being the genius that he is, he's got your mum's house doing the food, which is going to be incredible.
Yeah, I can't wait to try that.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. We've got a yoga session, we've got sound bath. I'm doing a special edition of the show, which probably won't be online for a good couple of months, so it's going to be like there and then. And we're also partnering with Black Minds Matter, which is very important, a great cause as well.
Yeah, like it's the key word is balance there.
Yeah, this is it.
You've got, you know, physical well-being, mental well-being.
Yeah.
You know, dietary well-being.
Absolutely, that's it. You know, it's all things that are very important to me. And as we're getting older, you know, unfortunately, one thing we're all going to have to deal with, we're going to lose loved ones, whether it's friends or family. And, you know, mental health is so important. Just in general, we're doing what we do, and with social media the way it is. So for me, this is like what Thomas said, which is a great idea. It's a reset. We want to start the year off and be like, right, we're resetting, and we're going to carry on in a good way. That's the idea.
I think it's definitely the exact concepts that I would expect you to execute. I wouldn't know what exactly it would have been till you said it, but as soon as I saw it, I was like,
this makes sense.
This is what he's been waiting.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you, like, I think you just said, you've not done an event as far as I've seen your journey.
Yeah.
Done a Future Beats live show.
It's because I've always wanted to.
But you
because
want to do something like this, I could tell.
Well, this is it, yeah. Because people, they forget I'm a club DJ. So when I get booked to do events which are around Future Beats, it's mostly edits and remixes and things like that. So for me now, it's about exploring the other side. And I really love that Gen Z and younger, they really are about mental health. It's such an important part of daily life. So for me, let's focus on that. Let's do that a bit more and just do something dope around it. So yeah, if you're in London, February the 13th at the brand new Cube Studios at Elephant and Castle, you know, please come along. Tickets available on my social media page, on Thomas's, and also we have the Future Beats and Balance Instagram page as well. And if this goes well, which I have no doubt it will, we're going to do many more. We've got some great ideas as well. So yeah, man, thank you for letting me talk about that as well. Thank you, man.
There you go, man. Yeah, I was definitely wanting to plug that for you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
There's probably maybe two more things I want to try.
Yeah, of course.
I've got an extended track to play one more, just to get it out.
This is the problem when you get me, right? Because I love to talk so much about this stuff. So
well, yeah, but when I was doing my research, I'm sitting down listening to like 2.5 hour podcasts. I'm not going to run out of things.
I'm so sorry. No. I think it's the radio side of me, and also I just love to talk, isn't it? So it's difficult.
I can't really blame a radio host for having a lot to say. But the next thing is Future Wave on One Extra. That's the show. I don't think many, in my opinion, I don't think many people maybe know about that as much.
Yes.
But it's for One Extra, it's quite a big station. It's quite a big opportunity. I'd just like to hear a little bit how that came to formulate.
Oh man,
what your position is there, and
yeah, it was crazy. So sadly, we're not doing it anymore. But it was just mental the way it happened. So One Extra, the head of One Extra, the new guy came in, a guy called Farron McKenzie, and I think he listened to my show. So he DM'd me. He goes, "Hey, bro, what's the deal with the Future Beat show?" I go, "Well, I'm Complexion, this show, blah blah blah." And he's like, "Cool. I'm the new head of One Extra. I want to talk about bringing you on. I'm going on holiday. Can we talk in 2 weeks?" I'm like, what am I supposed to do for 2 weeks? Like, do you know what I mean? I'm like, I can't wait for 2 weeks. What do you mean? So then his idea was he wanted to have like a late night show for people to listen to, whether you're studying on your way back from work, and just kind of enjoy that kind of journey, you know.
Cosmic Wind Down, was it?
Yeah, Cosmic Wind Down was like the whole kind of section they wanted to do. So yeah, it was great fun to be able to, you know, have a show on One Extra, and that's something I've always wanted to do. And at the time, and I think for a long time, I was the only South Asian person on One Extra, which is crazy.
Like it's a lot of people that want to go into like the Asian network, things like
that.
that.
Which is great, but also just because I'm South Asian doesn't necessarily mean I play Desi music. You know, like I can do other things. So for me, that was dope, holding it down in that respect. And yeah, it was great, and most importantly, to give so many artists their first BBC play. Because for a lot of people, that's very important to say, I've been played on the BBC. So I just played a bunch of my friends and other people I really messed with. We had like a good, I think it was like a 2-year run. It was good.
You was doing it for quite a while. I think a lot of people didn't know as well when you was on a short hiatus on Future Beat Show.
Yes.
You were still doing Future Wave?
Yeah, so Future Wave, I think was like, a lot of it was pre-recorded. So that was coming out from there. So yeah, it was great, you know, and I ticked my box of wanting to do, you know, have a show on One Extra and the BBC.
That's one for the archive.
Oh, absolutely. Sure. But now I'm very much about, I encourage everyone, do it yourself. Like, we don't need these big names behind us anymore. Like, they're great and they've done a lot of stuff for us, but now you can build a community by yourself. I mean, how many people have we seen that have their own radio shows and platforms? And
even the biggest names that you see now, they could still easily do it just as independent as what they were before.
Just by themselves without any stress. Yeah, that's the way to do it. So I always recommend, if you can, build it yourself.
Okay, started in college radio.
There you go, college radio, like to nothing, and then look what's happened to that. Like, it's huge now, absolutely killing it. You know, like they don't even need Beats One anymore.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But yeah, this is what
they can do their own show, still do well.
And yeah, exactly. So again, I encourage everyone, build your fan base, build your community, work with them, and then that's all I want people to do.
That's exactly what you need. The last thing I want to get into, Future Beats Records was obviously a very prominent thing starting off. I think I saw maybe a few years back you was in talks about bringing new projects out of there.
Yeah,
having updates on that one.
Yeah, so definitely going to do some more stuff. I'm working with some great artists at the moment. But again, the thing for me is, if I can bring something for them that they can't do themselves, then I want to get them on board.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, the way TikTok works and Instagram works nowadays, they can blow up without me. So I'm like, they don't really need me. You know, because the idea of the record label from when I was younger doesn't really exist anymore, because people now can go big just off TikTok. I mean, how many DJs have we seen blow up on TikTok? I mean, recently one of my clips went stupidly viral.
Oh, we have to talk about that one before.
which was mad, you know. But again, yeah. So what I want to do is, if I'm able to help an artist grow, then I will 100% want to bring them on and do something with them. But if they're already doing bits, do your thing, man. I'm here for advice if you need it, but I want you to make as much money as you can and stay independent for as long as you can.
Yeah, it's definitely, especially like with the accessibility of distribution services, things like that.
Yeah.
The label side of things has become a bit different.
Yeah.
I think it's more of an aspect of what you can do physically now.
Absolutely, yeah.
A&R in, and if you have the resources or maybe a reach they don't have, like you can blow up and get viral, but if you're literally starting from scratch, maybe you don't have a lot of social media presence, things like that. I think that's where you could still capitalize.
Oh no, completely.
People push themselves out.
Yeah, completely. And a lot of people are bringing me on board to like help with the mixtapes and things like that as well. I actually recently did Demay's new mixtape, which is out. So they kind of gave me the project. We're like, right, can you do something to this? I was like, yeah, of course. So like I did like a bunch of scratches, moved a couple of things around. So I like that kind of stuff as well, being able to bring that old school kind of thing that I grew up on and bring it into 2025, because I think that's very important as well.
Yeah, you have a few music connections as well. Obviously there's a connection in the West Midlands, if people don't know already, if they're new to the show with me. I'm obviously from Birmingham, and also I've had parts where I've been around like Walsall, Willenhall, that kind of area too. And you have a plaque, I believe, for being...
Which is crazy. Yeah.
Jorja Smith?
Yeah, so Jorja Smith, I know the team behind her. So if we've got, quick 2 minutes, I can tell you the quick story behind this. So a really good friend of mine, Zubin, he was working with Jorja Smith and he introduced me to her. He's like, right, this is a girl that I'm working with. She's amazing. And this might not be exact. So if anyone's there and listening, be like, no, that's not what happened. Please forgive me, correct me if you like. And... he actually brought her out to an event. At the time, I was DJing for this young man called Bonkers. If you remember him, I was his tour DJ. So Jorja and Zubin came out, and that's the first time I met her. And then he said to me, look, I've got this idea for a song. When you do some scratches on it, we were like, cool. Came out with the Dizzy Rascal idea of using sirens. Scratched all that. I did it in my bedroom on an old Technics turntable, which probably manufactured in 1989 or something. I had an old Vestax 05 Pro mixer, which some people might know what it is, but it's a very old mixer, and an old iMac, and put together what they wanted. And then literally overnight, I remember thinking or saying to Zubin, let me repost Jorja's track for you, because I think I had like 25,000 SoundCloud followers at the time. So I was like, let me do you a favor, I'll repost it for you.
Because that was the song that really got her out there. Really.
Well, it was mad, because I woke up the next day, and I'm not even exaggerating, I think it had like under 1 million plays.
Yeah,
and I was like, wait, what?
Biggest songs to this
like,
day.
yeah, Skrillex is sharing a Diplo, all these people. I was like, whoa, what happened? And then I think, again, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they couldn't clear the Dizzy sample. So the version they put out didn't have the scratches at the end. And if you look at the YouTube comments, people are like, where's the scratches? And I was like, oh, that's dope.
I mean, YouTube's one of the most important, I think, though, because of the visuals are there.
Yeah, completely. That's it.
That's where the first place you go when a new song drops.
Yeah, completely. So then they managed to clear the sample, the version came out, and then I got an email saying, hey man, your plaque's ready. I'm like, wait, what? And then I went and picked up the plaque and I showed my mum. My mum was like, what is this? She didn't understand.
It's a lot of crazy, achievements and credentials you've got, man, over the space of time. But we'll get into one more quick.
Yeah,
so all good. Take too much time with your mix. And that is obviously the latest thing probably happened towards the end of the year of TV off.
Oh yeah,
that went phrase it.
Okay,
where
so
people
Alex,
of the world
I'm
should-
gonna say this right. Like, this is the most simplest thing anyone can do, and I didn't make this up or anything. All I did was, I'm a big sample head. I think a lot of people around my age, we really are with sample heads, and we now live in a time where the tracks that I grew up on that were sampled are now getting resampled. You know, does that make sense? So
there'll be like someone will sample like electric relaxation, and that's a sample of.
There you go, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So for me, immediately I was like, right, what's this sample? I heard it, I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I was doing my event at the Jazz Cafe in Camden, and it literally took me 3 seconds to get the original into the Kendrick version. And it just so happened that the lighting team was super on it, and like the crowd, they didn't know what was happening because
the yellow flashes on mustard. I saw the one
crazy.
Like,
yeah, but what's crazy? People didn't know this. I'm telling you this now. I think only one other person, two other people know this. So with Serato, which is what I use, there's a shortcut where you press Shift and the left or right arrow key to load the track. So I accidentally loaded the track onto the wrong channel. So that's why the crowd looks confused, because imagine they're dancing to Kendrick and then all of a sudden this orchestral music comes out of nowhere. So they all stop and they're like, what's this guy doing?
Oh, so it's almost like a pull-up kind of thing.
Yeah, but they were just like, we were just dancing and now this is, what's going on? And if you look at the crowd, slowly they start realizing, oh, what's coming in? And then the lighting guy knew, and then everybody just went crazy. And it was great. However, the frustrating part was a bunch of pages on Instagram and TikTok took the video, didn't tag me in it.
Yeah, that's why.
And I was just like, yo guys, just tag me, come on, like, you know. And I messaged one of the channel or the pages and I said, look, you know what it's like to be a small channel and having to grow. Like they've got like 700,000 followers
from somewhere.
Yeah, and I'm like, you can just tag me in it, you know. So they eventually tagged me in it. And the other thing which was frustrating was I had DJs arguing with me, telling me the sample was from Superman or from Star Wars.
Oh yeah, that was a whole debate about
and I was like, guys, I'm literally the biggest Star Wars nerd you're probably gonna meet, and if not me, then my friends are, you know what I mean? So it's not Star Wars. And one DJ was like, no bro, I grew up on Star Wars, I know it's Star Wars. I'm like, bro, I did this, it's not Star Wars, you know. So that was the annoying thing, but it was great because a lot of people came across my show and they were like, oh right, this is what you do. So it helped that way. But please don't ever make me go viral ever again. I never want to do it. It's too much of a
I think it was a great way for people to see what you can do. Like, if you liked that, they'll like what you do. So I'm happy that you got that kind of exposure.
Yeah, in the end it was nice. I got a couple of cool emails from some people and a bunch of DJs asking me for it. And I was like, guys, like, you can do this live. Like, it took me 3 seconds, you know. So yeah, it was great. But yeah, thank you, man. Well, anyway, look, man, I know we got music to play.
We're gonna get into
and I will
that
talk
right now,
forever.
man.
So listen, thank you for having me. Shout out to G-Shock and everyone here for, you know, letting me be on here and talk. Listen, this is why I don't have my own show here, because it literally be me talking for 2 hours. And people are like, yo, where's the music? So yeah, real quick, Future Beats and Balance, 13th of February at Cube Studios at Elephant and Castle. Shout out to Thomas. Future Beat Show on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, thank you for having me, man. I super appreciate you.
My guy, Complexion.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it, man. So am I good to play some music now? We're gonna do?
I think we got a little bit of time for some music.
Okay. So the stuff I'm gonna play, just real quick, is a lot of people were probably expecting me to play like some Future Beat stuff, but lately I've really been going back to my 90s R&B, but not like debate stuff. Some like stuff that only the heads know, because I feel like that time there was like this warmth in music which doesn't really exist. So like I've got some dope stuff to play, so hopefully everyone will like it. And yeah, man, thank you for having me.
All right, then, man, let's get into it right about now. This is Alex Naz, G-Shock Radio. My man Complexion's about to take it away. Let's go.